What is a critical conversation? A critical conversation is a conversation that reveals important context, not only about ourselves, but about other people. Critical conversations edify, heal, and provide substance. Join Latanya Harris Gooden as she introduces us to critical conversations right here on Trailblazers Radio. Join Representative Rhonda Taylor, the Goody Group Foundation, and Antioch East AME Church for the holiday toy drive distribution.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is LHG. I am just coming to let you know that I am an independent paparazzi jewelry consultant. You didn't know that, did you? Well, now you know. So I would love to be your personal jewelry lady. Paparazzi is an amazing company. We sell nickel and lead free jewelry. We are known for our $5 bling, but you just need to know there is an exclusive Z collection that's $25. It's the bling of all bling when you're really going out on the town and you want to show up absolutely fabulous. So we have items for women, for men, and for young fashionistas out there. We don't discriminate. If you need it, I'm sure we got it. You have the opportunity to follow my page on Facebook called Polished on Purpose, a VIP group. Follow my personal page, Latanya Harris Gooden. And I have my own website that is at your disposal 24/7. So many ways to shop. So let me be the one that makes sure you are accessorized the way you should be. Because I want you to be polished on purpose. My mentor always tells me, when you show up, people are checking you out. They're watching you. So why not be polished? Be poised. Be purposeful. Glam it up with pop, honey. I got what you need. Well, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for being patient through a little bit of turbulence getting started, but welcome to the final Critical Conversations with LHG for 2022. I cannot thank you enough for supporting, for following, for engaging, for just being there as I embarked upon this adventure. And that really is what it has been. This has been my dream. This is a source of joy. I enjoy dialogue, connection. Anybody that knows me knows I am a talker. Sometimes to get on people's nerves, but it is who I am down to my DNA. So that's what it is. Before we get started, I am going to have a quick word of prayer. You know how we do. Make sure you are hydrated and moisturized, because when you come on here, we got to make sure we have the nourishment we need to engage in the kind of discussions that we engage in. I got my peppermint hot chocolate. I got me some water with a little extra electrolytes in here, because this discussion here, I'm going to tell you really, really honestly, is a whole trigger. It is. It's a whole trigger based upon what my life has been like this particular year. But that gives me all the more motivation to go there. And I saw a Facebook post that said, don't run from your triggers. It's, I think, the natural inclination to want to avoid what triggers you and what brings on anxiety. But it can also be an opportunity to address some things that you've been ignoring. You can tell a lot about people by the medication they take and the kind of doctor appointments that they have. So yeah, some of us are taking medications to keep us calm, and we're going to see people who can keep us alive and calm. Listen, do what you got to do. But let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I thank you. Whew, deep breath. Thank you for bringing me to this point at the end of 2022. And while I really want to say, do you still love me, Jesus? Because you've been jacking me up. I'm going to just say I count it all joy, because whatever has occurred in my life, it couldn't have gotten past you. So evidently, you see me as a way stronger human being than I see myself. So I thank you even through the valley experiences. I thank you through the ups, the downs. You had to reach way down to pick your girl up this year. And I thank you that you got a long go gadget arm that you can reach way down and grab me because I'm telling you. However, I'm also grateful because you thought enough of me to push me because many of us, Lord, would stay stagnant if you didn't push. And even though the push can be uncomfortable, the push can be discombobulating, the push plucks us out of things that have become comfortable, out of our complacency, out of comfort zones. And I instantly get an attitude when I'm out of my comfort zone. You know your girl, right, Lord? But your rebuild game, I have to believe, Lord, that this next year, 2023, is going to definitely be an opportunity for rebuilding, for resetting, restructuring in every area of life for me. I thank you for every guest that has graced this platform with their presence, for every person that has stopped through and just engaged in the comments, for every person that thought enough of me to follow me and thought enough of what I'm doing to follow. I thank you, Lord, for increasing the followers this coming year, increasing the potency of the conversations that we have, because I really want them to be life changing and really be the catalyst to get us to a whole nother level. We've been talking about the 7 areas of wellness. So, Lord, I really want all of those areas to be divinely aligned with your will and word for our lives. We've been broken too long. It's been a teeter-totter tug of war. One thing goes right, two things go wrong. I don't think that's your will. I don't. I mean, you can correct me, send me an email or a text, Lord. But I really feel that when you said you had a plan for our life that we prosper and have a bright future, I'm ready for that bright future. I'm ready for that prospering in every area, nothing lacking, nothing broken. And you said no good thing would you withhold from us. And I don't want to withhold anything from you. That's one reason why we jacked up now. We've been doing a lot of withholding from you and from each other, just not being honest about our current condition. So here we are, Lord, the final episode of this year, closing it out strong and opening up a new year strong. So I thank you for your strength. Thank you for your strength through the process. In Jesus' name, amen. Woo! Hey, Kim. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Please make sure that you all like, share, subscribe to Trailblazers Radio and go to Critical Conversations on Facebook and follow. Invite people. Listen, today's topic, let me sip some of this peppermint hot chocolate. My Lord, today's topic. Yes, thank you, Kim. We do want the Lord to enlarge our territory. Let me put my comments up here. I'm doing my own production today. Whoo, thank you, sister. I need a mighty, mighty, mighty blessing. And I pray the same thing for you and my brother. I got some really good friends, y'all. And one part of 2023 is going to be spending more time with the people who have been there from the beginning and who have seen you at your best, at your worst, good edges, no edges, high blood, low blood, no blood. And Kim Wilson's one of them people. I want to spend more time with my girls in this next coming year. Because sometimes when you're going through stuff, the natural inclination is to isolate and get into that mode of, Lord, how we going to do this, or trying to figure things out. But back in the day, they would say, while you trying to think it out, God has already worked it out. Realize that your mind only can go so far. Realize that the human capabilities have a very definite ending point. But his strength is made perfect. Where? Right in the middle of our weakness. And his grace is sufficient. We are talking about workplace wellness. And the theme is, are you doing the most and still not doing enough? Woo, let me tell you, this thing may hurt some feelings, but that's okay. Sometimes these discussions have to be had. Yes, sister. Thank you. I sure do have a village of prayer warriors, and I be needing all that good warrioring, all of that. Let me tell you this. Um, if you have found yourself in a working situation where you've been burned out, um, maybe you have felt like the more you do, the more it's asked of you to do. It's never enough to make the cut. If you felt like the bar was being moved so far away from you that it felt as though you were being set up to fail, I'm gonna need you to pay attention to this discussion. And I'm thinking it's probably gonna be a series because in this particular year, one of the reasons why I am doing this is because I came to a pinnacle point that I had to move differently in the area of work. Speaking of work, what was work like for your parents? Do you remember your parents working? I do. I remember my mom coming home from her job, and she, in her time, this is the 80s, 70s, 80s, she was, if not one of, maybe the only African American woman in her, that had her particular job. And she had to fight daily to prove herself, whereas other counterparts, non-African American counterparts, were able to do less and be elevated. We're going to talk about it today. Let's just call it what it is. So I watched her go to work, put on her makeup, put on her suits, put on her heels, put on the face, and go into this office and be the consummate business professional. But when she came home, she was so tired, both physically and mentally, that it affected the entire house. I'm not saying that to sound as though I'm trying to judge, because I've since been where she was. I've felt that. When you are in an environment where you have so much pressure on you to just try to be acknowledged, okay? And it seems as though every little thing, if you do anything wrong, there is much more publicity given to your mistakes than is given to your triumphs. That's a toxic work environment, okay? And a lot of it comes from toxic leadership. What do I mean by that? There are people in executive positions, in very high up positions, that are broken, that have low self esteem, trust issues, and deep down, they are miserable souls. And what happens with that? That translates into how they lead and translates into how they operate their departments. And many times, the people who report to these people are definitely negatively affected by their own internal issues. Let's just be honest. It's tough working for certain people. Now, is there a perfect boss? No, I wasn't a perfect boss. I'm not. I'm not a perfect boss at all. So I'm just trying to tell you, your connection to your leader and how you're able to flow in your work environment, it isn't just about you. It's about who's above you and who's next to you. I'm telling you. And I know most of you are working at home now, or hybrid as they call it, but the majority of my work life and Kim work life has been in the office. And there is, you can have an entire bad day because of one person, one email, one interaction. You can. I'm just being honest, y'all. So this particular year, some stuff that smacked me, Kim, I hear you, girl, that smacked me in my face was involving, how do you move differently in the workplace? How do you make the cut when you know you're doing all you can, but it seems like the more you do and the more you meet or beat the goal that keeps moving, you convince them that you're invincible and the bar keeps changing and it keeps getting raised and it gets harder and harder to reach it. That's a whole problem for me. And I almost think, well, I'm going to step on a limb here, that we have normalized stress in the workplace. We've made it so that, oh, if you ain't stressing out, you ain't working hard. Woo! I'm telling you, Kim, a good God-fearing manager that has people skills on top of technical skills is a hot commodity. Come on. It's a hot commodity. I'm so sick of people thinking that just because you've been in a position for decades, just because you know what it is you know, then you are automatically a good leader. No, good leadership. Come on. Shonda is up in here. Come on, CVO. Good leadership has layers, dimensions, and it's a special recipe. It's a special recipe. And it's not based upon the fact that you know everything. I don't know a person who knows everything. So therefore, your leader can't possibly know everything, but they know enough to know how to recognize the stars on their team. They know enough to know how to capitalize on the experience and knowledge and skill set of their team. They know enough to know that even a little recognition can go a long way. They know enough to know that you are strong as your team. Basically, who am I as a leader and my team is jacked up? And that's reflecting on me. So would it not behoove me to, number one, have a good relationship with my team? What does that require? I'm getting off my notes here. What does that require? Being a human. Come on here. Being a human. Kim, that's good. They know when to push and they know when to pause. And to know that, you got to have some foundational training and really what being a leader. Now, leadership and management are two different things, in my opinion. I ain't no professor, and I ain't quote nobody but myself. I believe leadership and management are two different things. Management is something you can probably train in terms of how to balance payroll with doing performance reviews, with doing the paperwork and the administrative aspect of being a leader. You can probably train that. There's probably a handbook or an employee guide or something in your company, that job aid that you can reach for, that can probably help you manage certain things. But when you talk about leadership, I'm talking being someone that's dependable, reliable, trustworthy, an example, open-minded, willing to listen, willing to sit down and get in the trenches. Come on, Kim, you can't teach character. I can't train a person on page one. Let me train you on how to have good character. You got to find that on your own, whether it's from your spiritual walk, whether you learn something at home. That's the part that people can't train on. And I think that we equate good leadership only with the technical aspect. They know their job, and that could be true. I'm not saying knowing your job isn't a part of being a good leader, but there's some soft skills. And we got a lot of executives and a lot of people who make a lot of money, but don't know how to talk to people. They're literally uncomfortable in the presence of other human beings. Hey, how you be a leader? How you be a good leader? And you don't even like people. Where they do that at? Yeah, I know it's Ebonical. But there is no way in my book of LHG that you can be a good leader and don't like people. I just don't think that can, or you better fake it real good. But to really be a good leader and really be in this to help other people, to be in this to mentor and to coach and watch other people blossom and shine, you got to have a level of humanity, okay? that says, I realize, employees, that during this COVID, this pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, your lives have been shattered, which may mean you may not have a good day every day. You may have a moment where, because your children are, going to school at home, and you may have to have some more options to be able to leave and come back and drop this kid off. A good leader tries to help the employees balance their life and work, and they acknowledge that you're a human being first before you are my employee. You are a parent, a person, a mom, a dad, or whatever before you became an employee. So all of those hats you wear, come on, Kim, they don't know how to be relatable because they're so fixated on what they know and being higher up. Kia says, and more importantly, a good leader must love people even when they don't like their character. Woo! Let me tell you, these last couple of years, during this pandemic, and everybody being so nervous about things and kind of on the edge about everything, it showed me that I have to have even more grace, because what was considered normal to us doesn't exist anymore. That's right, Kim. Your niece is on here preaching. She preaching today. What was normal, y'all? What was our comfortable pattern of going to work, working whatever hours, coming home? That is changed. Now we're wearing masks, and we're not in the job, and we at home and at work, because everything was with the carpet was pulled out from under us, and people lost loved ones. I know someone who lost their husband. I know someone who lost their parents. I know someone who lost children. Listen, and with that being said, I'm still looking for you to come in here and perform. Yeah, but I got to have some grace. If you need the employee assistance program, you need therapy, you need to take some time off. What do you need? Because this whole pandemic changed the game for everybody. I don't know anybody that wasn't affected in some type of way. I don't. So as leaders, we have to go into our area of leadership and say, let me get to know my employees for one. And what can I do as their manager, their leader, to show them that I'm here for them? Yes, the work has to get done, and it will. But the more you show humanity and genuine care and concern, come on here, Customer College, Kim, listen. The more you extend yourself, yes, Kim, what do you need from me? I have said every side by side, one on one, whatever you want to call it. What do you need from me? That is the $1 million question. And then be prepared to have a plan to give them that. Because trust me, just because I show up does or log in doesn't mean I really feel like it. But I need my job. Here I am. So give me some credit for showing up. But now find out what I need as an employee to be successful. If I'm overwhelmed, find out why. Don't make assumptions. Don't assume I don't have good time management skills. Could it be that you're giving too much at one time? Could it be you need to do a time study and find out, well, how long does it take to do this job? Maybe my expectations is just too high. Maybe I'm looking for them to do a miracle. And we know, Kim, from being in the call center environment, girl, I used to wonder, are y'all paying attention to what's happening here? So, yes, it's busy. You want to take my break, take my lunch, go get some food, put it on the table, but don't give me time to eat it. So I'm wolfing it down in between calls. And then you're going to come tap me on the shoulder and say, why you in after call work? And why did we normalize that? Maybe you ought to hire enough people so that historically it's going to be wintertime and we live in Michigan, and you know that any little smidgen of ice and snow is going to mean more calls. So I'm going to need you, wonderful leadership, to hire enough people where you ain't got to take my break of lunch. How about that? Because what I'm getting ready to go through this here article about work-life balance, there have been studies that when I don't eat my lunch and take a break, I'm not productive for you. I'm not. I'm not. Kim said, don't sit in the boardroom making up processes without knowing what it would look like in real life. That's why I always feel as though when companies are making up processes, when they are, changing and tweaking, ask somebody who does the job on a daily basis. Where did we come up with this myth that when decision making is done, it has to be only involving higher up people and not with the discussions with those who do the job? Why do we do that? Why do we think it's beneath us as executives to go and sit down with an entry level employee and pick their brain? They're doing it all day, every day. You're at the top looking down, and they're in it. So wouldn't it be a better idea to have focus groups and say, and we used to do this. Hey, you guys, we got a couple of things I want to talk about, some possible changes, but I want to run it by the group just to see, because you all kind of think differently, how you think this will work. Let's map it out. They got all kind of different applications, Visio and all that helps you map out processes. That way, you might think it's a good idea, Madam or Mr. Leader, but if you put it out in front of the people who do the job, they may see some things and have a perspective you may not have. You're right, Kia. If I don't eat, there'll be no grace. I hear you. I hear you. So I know I got off my subject, but I feel as though the whole mindset of what leadership really is has been distorted. And I almost think, and it's gonna sound crazy, I believe that there is a large percentage of good leadership that is called servitude. And not in a oh low is me, but really, I was taught that your team are your internal customers. So just like you train people to talk to their outside customers with respect and dignity and empathy and engage and all those different things that we learn, why wouldn't you in turn use those same techniques with your own staff? My staff, that's my customer base. Yes, Kim, lead by example. How can I tell my staff to do something that I'm not even capable or willing to learn how to do? The whole do as I say and not as I do, that has no place in the workplace or anywhere. Because I'm telling you, the millennials, the Gen X, Y, whatever they are, they ain't playing that. They will bounce and go get another job within 15 minutes. They ain't worried about being broke. They feel like, shoot, you don't treat me right, you don't talk to me right, I'm gonna go somewhere else. But I better see what they gonna do because I'm stuck. No. This younger generation, they not hanging with you when you're not right. Mm-mm. No, honey, because they feel as though you need me like I need you. So come correct, or I'm a bounce. I'm telling you, they're not playing. A managed issues work. A leader works with. Yes, a leader does work with you. I agree. Yes, a manager issues work. A leader works with you. I like that, Kim. Absolutely, absolutely. And I guess for me, in my own particular management style, if we are busy to the point where it's all hands on deck and I can't even eat or drink my water and got to put on a depend, you better believe I'm about to be working with y'all, taking them same calls, because I'm not going to be at my desk shopping at JCPenney online when y'all over there taking call after call after call, can't hardly breathe, passing out. I'm not doing that. I've seen that happen. Absolutely horrific. No, well, that's not your job to do their job. Well, baby, if it's crunch time and those calls are on hold and we don't want abandoned calls and we don't want a bad rating or whatever, yeah, I'm gonna get right on in here. I'm gonna get my team straight. Y'all good? Here go y'all water. Y'all need me, I'm right here. But where my headset at? Okay, I'm telling you, Kim, I'm not here to dictate or be a tyrant. I'm here because we are a team. And if it's that busy to where I got to take something from you, I need to be giving something. I can't take your lunch, take your break, dispense you food, and think you just going to look at it and eat it intravenously and just be sitting at my desk doing nothing. That is not in my DNA. Absolutely not. I'm gonna be right there with my sleeves rolled up, taking calls in between, helping y'all. That's what a team is. And what does that do? That shows your team that you are connected to the vision. We got to come up out these cute little offices and these little plush areas and get in the trenches. And for many leaders, you don't even have a clue what they do anyway. So stop hiring leaders, companies that don't know what the team does. Stop doing that. That doesn't work. I feel like you ought to hire from within anyway, if you can, because someone that does it can be a great coach. Not everyone is equipped to be a manager, leader. I'm there. But where did we stop grooming people for leadership from doing good at a job? If you know you got a star employee, why wouldn't you pull them aside and say, you know what, you've been really mastering this. You really been doing a good job. Now I recognize something in you. Yes, Kim, if your staff performs poorly, yes. And that's literally in the performance review. But if you recognize a star and you see that they've been just knocking them out, call after call, they sounded good, they empathizing, they working the computer right, they multitasking, and that's the work. I don't like that multitasking. That's just on me. I'm working the devil, honey. I'm getting older. Who made that up? That's too much. But you recognize those people who are working so well to where they killing the game. So why wouldn't you approach them during your time with them and say, you know what? Have you thought about going into supervision, management? What is your career path choice? You open that up. Where I come from in my at my employer, the whole premise was we're partnering with you in your performance. We're partners. So if you tell me you got your eyes set here, then as your partner / leader, I'm going to help you get there. Okay? Woo. Kim, now back in the day, 20 years ago, multitasking was the buzzword, and I guess it used to work. But the older I have gotten, as I am getting ready to hold up 50 in a couple of years, I listen. Multitasking for me looks like this: 17 started emails, and none of them got sent because I'm start one, move on, start one, moving on, start one. So I had to let go of multitasking for right now, because it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't. I'm not saying it won't ever work again, but I know my limitations and I know the way I maneuver. I need to be really careful trying to multitask. But back 20 years ago, that was the name of the game. But unfortunately, that has cost me um edges and cartilage in my jaw. So that good multitasking, I don't mess with him too much at all. But today, what I wanted to talk about, y'all, it is work-life balance I want to talk about. And at one point, that was a buzzword. A couple years ago, that was a buzzword. However, I think in my arena, people have normalized working overtime, not getting paid because your salary, working weekends, and giving up your life in order to maintain a position. Kim said, At 53, no more multitasking. And you know what? And to me, the thing about that is, Kim, I don't even fake it no more. If it's too much for me, I'm learning how to be honest. I'm learning how to be very clear about that. Because I only hurt myself, and I have done this time and time again, taking on so much and being involved in so much. It reminds me Kyle Shonda came on the vendor show, and she's like, I'm not even coming to sell nothing per se, but she was just talking about being quiet. And that's a part of it, being quiet and not taking on too much and not getting involved in too much to where I can at least just sit still for a minute and just breathe, woosah, get nourished. I mean, that was the whole word she gave. And that, I think about that in multitasking. What I would do, y'all, is an email would go out to a group. Something in LHG, I don't know what that something is, would make me respond so quickly. Come on, blessed quietness. Something would make me respond right away with these two words. Got it. My leader had to ask me, why do you always grab stuff so fast? It was like a nervous tick. The email was to a group, okay? But for some reason, LHG felt it was as if it said, LHG, do this. It didn't say that. But for some reason, something in me made me respond because I hated looking at it. It's like I want to just let me just grab it so it's done. There's something in me that feels good checking stuff off. But some stuff is not for me to even do to check off. And what you do is when you are the one that always grabs it, always does it, the rest of them feel like, well, why even reply if LHG gonna grab it? Okay. Then I got them really good. I said, well, since you said don't grab it, the next emails come out, don't grab it, LHG. Okay, no problem. I sat back there and everybody else was like looking around like, who gonna grab it? I'm like, not I, says the fly, because I was told I moved too fast. I ain't touching it. So now what's your excuse? I didn't grab it and nobody else did. So guess what the next email was? LHG, can you handle that? See, this whole man, we have to get to a place too where if you have a team of people, stop putting everything on one. Everyone needs to have the opportunity to learn, absorb, and grow. It's okay to have a subject matter expert, but at the end of the day, if it's a team, if y'all are on the same level and you are leaders, okay, we got to get away from, well, no one knows how to do that but Kim. Why is that? Because Kim get vacation. Kim gets, why do we have these one person jobs and they in the back of the corner and nobody know what they do, but if they retire, all hell break loose? That's not smart, leaders. Cross training can be your friend. Gone should be the days of having that one person that had been there 40 years, 50 years. No one know what she does. And God, hold on one second. Okay, got it. Yes, don't burn out that one person. And God forbid that one person don't come back. And when COVID hit and companies started downsizing and allowing early buyouts and retirements, hundreds of workers left the workforce. But did anybody stop and say, now, if we do this, okay, I'm talking to y'all corporate tycoons. If we do this, yes, we are saving money on one end, but what kind of transition should we have if we let hundreds of people leave all at one time? Do we have the knowledge to continue whatever they were doing or identify that what they were doing ain't even needed no more? So yeah, it's like they're looking at the bottom line, which is money, and I understand that part, but you scramble. You scramble when you let your veterans go. And then what do you have left? You burning out everybody else. Come on. Yes, yes, Kim. That particular company uh left let a lot of veterans go, and unfortunately did not have a good transition plan to cross train. And the way they did it, when they gave, and honey, I was trying to see, well, am I on the list? I had the years, but not the age. But when it happened, you have a certain amount of time to respond. Are you going to stay or leave? Fine. But then some people wait to the last minute to hit the magic button. Listen, all hell breaks loose when you do stuff like this. You let this a mass amount of people go. I'm talking people who have been there 30, 40 plus years. People who know these jobs like the back of their hand, who know all these systems because they help build these systems. So you thinking that you're smart and you're saving money, you have all these people walk out, and I ain't hating, good for them. But what happens with the processes that they handle? Did you create a transitional period to say, okay, since you are good evening, Auntie Emma, thank you for coming on. Did you say, okay, since all of these veterans and people who know this job are leaving, let's create a period of time where we have them brain dump into somebody else to prepare the next person to fulfill that job? Or do you even know for sure that that job is even relevant anymore? Are you so out of tune that you don't know what these folks was doing? Half of these people that was in this company 40 years was doing stuff that nobody even knew they were doing. Kim, you talk about disconnect. So now you say, well, this job is redundant, this one redundant, all of y'all leave. But what you didn't realize, they took with them so much information. So your newbies who only been there a year, 2 years, 3 years, don't have a clue. So if you want to save money, I'm not saying corporate America you shouldn't save, but you have to have a plan. You can't be so dollar driven that you don't set aside a plan of knowledge transfer, and only transfer what's relevant. But you got to know what's relevant by knowing what the heck the person know how to do, what they was doing. I'm telling you, man. Yes. Yes. Exactly, Kim. Exactly. So when you're making these decisions, and I understand that you have the executive power to wave your magic wand and say, go, stay, lay down, sit, roll over, whatever. But would it not be smart? Would it not be smart to say, okay, you all are eligible to retire. Let me meet with you, get with you to see what your day-to-day looks like, to determine which of the tasks that you do need to go to somebody else and which tasks we can eliminate. Because I do believe that there probably was a lot of redundancy. Yeah, I believe it. But you have to be connected enough to find out what people are doing. You let 100 to 500 people go, and you don't know what they were doing. And now the younger generation or the next person down is looking like, we don't know, because you didn't even make it, you know, make cross training a thing with us. You had us all siloed. You can't have departments who are siloed. Yes, Kim, you put the training transition in place before they walk out. When they hit the magic button and say, I'm retiring, that's when you meet and you come up with a training plan. Why is that so difficult to understand? So now they gone. We don't know what they were doing, how they were doing it, but you want to put those tasks on somebody else. They looking like, that ain't my forte. I don't know how to do that. And maybe even before that, maybe while everybody is here, you say, okay, Kim, I want you to learn what Tanya does. Tanya, learn what Kim does. So if Kim is off, sick, or God forbid anything go on, Tanya, you can step in. That used to be a big thing back in the day. Cross training. Don't even let retirement be the reason. Just because I want to support my coworker, just because I know that she got vacation time and she shouldn't have to be working at home because her coworker don't know how to do her job. Ooh, Kim. Some of the one-off situations that seldom come up. That's right. That's right, Kim. When you spend time cross-training and learning, when a person has a lot of tenure, they have absorbed so much in their time there. You should be assigning people to them on a rotational basis for them to knowledge transfer. That's the words, the phrase now, I guess. Cross train, knowledge transfer. Don't wait until dun, 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 they leaving. Don't wait until that. Already have a cross training plan set up on a rotational basis every quarter. Every quarter. And get everybody up to snuff on everything. We shouldn't be 5 different companies working in the same company because everybody got their own. Well, it's my work, it's mine, and when I'm off, I do it myself. No, no. Yes, Auntie Emma, cross training is exactly that. It's a transfer of knowledge. And leaders, how can you support your staff? Making sure that there is coverage when they're gone. It's good for the business too. We shouldn't be scrambling when somebody go off work. But we gotta call them and ask them to do it. Well, I don't want to bother her. She on vacation. Well, we don't know how to do it. That's horrible. You can't be a multi-million-dollar entity and you gotta call somebody on their vacation to ask them, well, we don't know what to do. Do you know how to so and so and so? Shame on you. That's not good leadership or management in my book. It's not. To have a fully functional staff, there should be rotational training, refresher training. Things are changing with the whole COVID thing. Processes have changed, been eliminated. New stuff is coming in. We're offering new options. Training should be on a rotational basis all year. If you only training when a new group coming in, shame on you. Shame on you. That's right, Emma. Auntie, you can't function like that. When you're limiting yourself to only doing training when somebody new comes, but what about when things are changing and just to have coverage in certain areas? I want people to feel like they can go on vacation and actually be on vacation and not be worried about, Lord, I hope they do this, or knowing ain't nobody gonna touch my work. Lord, I'm gonna come back to 18,855 emails. So I'm stressed on my vacation. The devil is a liar. Come on. That ain't right, y'all. Fortune 500 company and half of certain departments don't fully understand their job. Woo! So why are we paying people to not understand their job? You want what you want to save money before you go eliminating people. Get people just trained on what they are supposed to do. I talk to my daughter, and she even tells me sometimes, it's funny how, I've been working here for so long and I really ain't got no training. They just say, here, go do this. What is going on here? Since when did we stop doing orientation and explaining what the company is about and mission and vision and the values of the company before you jump into, then you go into the how do you do a job? Training should be layered. Stop throwing people into these jobs and throwing them out to the wolves and expecting them to land on their feet. And then when they don't, you persecute them. Shame on you. Shame on you, leaders. You should want to equip your staff with whatever they need to succeed. And that even translates to what I do in paparazzi. I don't have a big team yet, but it's coming. But I want to make sure I am there for the team members I have. training, encouragement. And if I don't know how to do something, I can go to somebody else and say, hey, can you come over here and train us on how to so and so? Come on here. A good leader doesn't know everything, but they know where the resources are. And if they don't know it, they will seek it out. I may not know the answer. That's a very good question. And if you give me one moment or give me 1 hour, or give me one business day, we are going to learn together. So stop making leadership so standoffish. Stop making it look as though, I'm all high and mighty and you all meek and lowly. Stop it. In leadership, there is servitude. In leadership, there should be a desire to see your staff succeed. Come on, Kim, and talk about that pride. Let's talk about it. That thing will hem us up every time, won't it? So we so high and mighty, and we want to be seen as royalty because we're making the 6 figures and up, and that's cute. That's cute. But what are you instilling in people? How are you equipping people? Do you even know who your staff is? Do they even know you? Have they even had a chance to meet you? Do you call them if you're working at home? Do you set up time on Zoom or whatever to have some conversation to say, I'm here for you? Or are you just the person who keeps the notes on the mistakes they make? Why do I only talk to you when I messed up on something? That's not good leadership. Why is it that the only time I can look in your face or hear your voice is when I missed something? That's wrong. And then even if I missed it, why did I miss it? Did you give me the right training and information for me to do it right? Or did you assume that I would know how to do it without even training me? Shame on you. Shame on you. So how do you expect people to respect you, to want to work hard for you? Because really, if you play your cards right, leaders, I'm just being here. Oh, we're going to go there today. If you play your cards right, okay, a real leader can motivate so well that when the tough times come, your staff will be running to make sure they work for you. If you establish a rapport and you have a good reputation in being there for them, learning who they are, learning their strengths and opportunity areas, and I've been told, oh, we're gonna put it out there. I've been told you just get too personal. You get too personal. Yes, a person will work for a company they don't like if they like their leader. If I feel like my leader is in my corner, if I feel like they got my back, I'll move mountains for them. I'm loyal to them because they've been loyal to me. Now, should we have a line drawn? Yep, I know you can't get too personal because I have been accused of such, and I might be guilty. Only if you feel like personal is, how are you today? I heard that you lost your aunt. How are you doing? Here's a card. It's your birthday. Everybody join me in saying happy birthday to Tanisha because it's her birthday. The little things. I believe in getting to know things about my staff that make them tick, that make them who they are. They're people. They're living, breathing, feeling people. And they should be treated as such. Auntie says, as a leader, you want your staff to be excited about coming to work or Zoom. Come on, Auntie. You got to drum up the excitement. You got to make sure you're connecting with them and let them know how important what they do, is important to the vision. Make them feel valued. That's the word. That's all people really want. At the end of the day, y'all, whether it's customers on the outside, or your team on the inside, people really want to feel like their presence, their work, their effort, their time is valuable. Value is huge, y'all. I don't care what kind of business you're in, whether you sell jewelry, real estate, filet of fish, filet mignon, or folding lawn chairs, or chitlin juice. Your employees want to feel valuable. They want to know that you acknowledge them. Come on, Kim. They want to know that you acknowledge their presence, you appreciate their efforts, and even if they do something that's not right, there is a respectful way to deliver that information. You start by saying, "Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a valued employee. Now, there were some things that happened during the month that I want to talk about, and let's work through this together. Nobody's perfect. Mistakes are going to be made, but it's all in if you value me, okay, and you want me to have those teachable moments. That's what you do with errors. You make them teachable moments. Don't crucify him on the cross. Put them nails away. We only have a Savior crucified. Stop crucifying your staff. You hear me? They will not like you. They will despise you if you crucify them. Don't embarrass them, and do not publicly humiliate them in an email. Baby, you want to get on LHG's bad side? Copy 10 people in that email, and it should have been to me only. People are notorious for that. Let me sip because I'm getting a little upset. People are notorious for going all around you when you make a mistake, and then email your manager, your manager's manager, and you could have came to me and said, "LHG, look at this for me. I think something is off." But because you want to go to my superior and call yourself, take me to the principal's office, you will be on my bad side for real. We can't even talk. Come on. And leaders, when you meet with your staff and you have those one-on-one conversations, you need to make sure you're prepared to discuss the ups and the downs. Don't come in like a train wreck about what went wrong. Not if you value them and their feelings and their work. And what could you have done differently in terms of equipping them to not make those mistakes? Put it on you for a minute. Yeah, it was wrong, but do they have the right job material? Did you spend time with them or give them a peer to peer opportunity to learn more? What could you do? There is that question again. What do you need from me? I need you to make sure I'm equipped to do the job y'all paying me for, because I want to do a good job. The average person, I believe, in my whole spirit, is that the average employee wants to do a good job. I don't believe the average person doesn't want to do a good job. I won't believe that. I really believe that there could be some people who just don't, but the average person, I believe, wants to do a good job. There you go, Kim. What kind of plan and action plan can we put in place to make sure that the issues you're having don't occur again? That's the key. It would not be good leadership to let you keep making the same mistake without me saying, let's try it a little bit differently. Let me see what job aids you have. Maybe you got the old one and not the new one. Don't assume that a person's error or mistake was deliberate. That's why it's called mistake. They can have the wrong information. I mean, we worked in an environment where stuff changed so fast. Kim could have edition number 10. I got edition number 12, and things changed. I didn't get the memos. I was off that day, and nobody gave me the new copy or whatever. You really have to find ways to make sure, if you want to be in leadership, that you are prepared to help propel people into their next level, whatever that is, whatever that is, and to help them secure the level that they're at. to help them perform great in their current level. That's first. Help them master their skill, hone their current skills, and then help propel them if they want to go. Only if they want to be propelled, propel them into the next level. I take leadership very seriously. And I have had some really good ones, and I have had some horrific ones. And when I tell you those horrific ones, I allowed to break me down to the white meat because all I wanted to do was to serve them and to have our team succeed, but they didn't acknowledge the effort that got put into that. Ooh, I tell you, a leader can make or break your situation at work. It can. I'm just being honest. I'm not perfect at all, but I'm the one that asks the questions. What do you need from me? What can I do differently? Because if you want to grow in leadership, you have to be willing to ask those questions. I'm really believing that there should be some kind of assessment, like survey from people's employees, that says they're doing good here, not so good here. Now, I'm not saying that your whole performance review should be based upon what people say, but there should be a component in it that allows people to survey you. We survey companies. Why can't we survey people and survey leaders? Because there are some people in leadership roles that shouldn't be there. Oh, they know their stuff now. They know their job, but they are not good leaders. I didn't got way off track. Let's get back to work-life balance. So y'all know I love to have come on, for real. For real. Good ones. Good ones, good ones, good ones, good ones. Hands down. Hands down. Good ones. I agree, Kim. I agree. Yes. People want to be great, not just good. I mean, think about it. If you realize you have a star employee that is really showing their commitment to their job and really coming in, day out, working early, working late, doing all that it takes to keep this team floating, why wouldn't you value that? Why wouldn't you say thank you in different ways? And to me, thank you mean dollars and cents. Y'all stop cutting corners and giving people these little raggedy trinkets. Show me the money. You think I'm great? I'm worthy of awards and all these accolades? Show me a little money, honey. Companies, get creative at how you give rewards and recognition. Give me something I could use, okay? I don't need no more toasters, no more pots and pans. I don't need that. No more dishes. I don't need that. Find an incentive program that people can feel. Give them something they can feel. That way you show them that the value is real. Come on here. So back to my original subject. I love y'all so much. Y'all got me going. So this year, the buzzword work-life balance came back up in my life because I realized that I had been broken by the way that I maneuver in how I work. Um, I've always been told from a child, you got to work hard, you got to overachieve, you got to get out there and do the doggone thing. And I get that. But in some cases, when you overachieve or you do too much or try to do more just to feel good for yourself, it gets seen as, oh, you can do that, then you can do this. If you can do this, you can do that. If you can, come in on Saturday, you can come in on Sunday. And in many of the interviews in these jobs now, they're telling people this is not a 40-hour-a-week job. Why isn't it? If it ain't surgeries, if it don't involve taking blood, if it don't involve cutting somebody open and patching them back up, why is it not a 40-hour-a-week job? We're going to have to stop normalizing giving of our personal time to these companies. Because in many cases, doing the most is crippling us because there is no balance. We are teaching people that we can do it all. And then when you do, they move the bar further away. So you taught them that you can take 75 calls a day when the quota was 50. Okay, well, since you can do 75, we should make the goal 80. That's how they think. And I'm not saying you should slack off or not achieve, y'all. I'm just saying, in all actuality, even though you're pushing for a personal goal and personal fulfillment, there's people watching you saying, if you can do this, then you can do that. Knowing that, yeah, you did 75 that day, but what were the circumstances that day? Was it a blizzard? Was it something going on to where, what was going on? Because that doesn't mean you have a license to expect a person to do that every single day. I don't know where they get that from. But they move the bar, they move the range to where you have to push yourself so hard just to make the median point that now you're getting sick, now you burnt out, stressed out, relationships getting affected. Ooh, y'all. So here's this article. The article comes from a blog called betterup.com. I have to cite my source, y'all. Okay. Let's get into work-life balance part 1. We ain't going to get through it all, but this has been a really good conversation. The article says, work-life balance is a key part of self-care when juggling the responsibilities of your workday, home life, relationships with your family members, and other loved ones. Stop right there. Juggling. Many of us have become circus jugglers when it comes to work, because you are literally juggling all these important things: work, marriage, kids, home, trying to do self-care, trying to do ministry. You're constantly doing this juggling act, and it's so many balls being juggled, something is going to hit the ground, and when it hits hard. So work-life balance is a part of self-care. All right. So what we're going to talk about for the last 30 minutes of the show is what work-life balance is. And then if we have time, I want to go through what the article says are 12 steps to achieving it. Okay. So the article says we all know the feeling when demands are piling up on one side of the work-life scale and dominating our days. You also know the feeling of unfulfilled dreams and desires on the other side of the scale. Pause. My commentary on that. Yes, a lack of work-life balance is a tug of war between work and everything else in your life. When I was growing up, I don't know how my mama did it. She would get in the car, we'd pick her up from work. She would kick her shoes off, so tired. When she got home, she could barely cook up a little something, or my stepdad would cook a little something to eat. And don't say too much to her because she's stressed out. So she would go through the motion of talking about how bad things might have been at the job, how she's gotten looked over for promotions because she's a woman and a Black woman, how her counterparts that's not African American could just do no wrong. That came home. And I can relate to that. That's why I don't like working at home. I don't like that energy coming into my home. Now, I know 99% of the jobs are work from home. Now, I get it. But I'm going to be the last of the Mohicans that go in that office, because at least I know when I leave that office, they ain't going to bother me. Yep, undue stress, and that brings about other issues in your personal life. Yes, when so much of your mental faculties are being absorbed into your work, and it leaves much of nothing for you, for one, self-care, or everybody else who you support. Let's keep going in the article. They slowly drag people into a vague feeling of discontent and disengagement. I postponed my wedding because I was just getting into a new job and I wanted to devote so much time and effort into the training. I'm still in training, working on the weekends, trying to balance that stuff. Ooh, where they do that at? So here I am in a new position, trying to get acclimated. I'm already overwhelmed in the training part. That means there's too much going on. Let's keep going. With that said, how can you manage your time and energy in a way that leaves you feeling fulfilled and engaged as a whole human being? Pause right there. When you experience the kind of work that has you so distraught, so stressed, so overwhelmed, you become fragmented and you turn into a literal plane/train wreck, just wreckage, because you have no. Listen, I would just be crawling to my car some days, can barely get behind the wheel and drive. I have sat in the parking lot in some previous jobs and cried. I didn't even feel like driving home. It was just so much stress. So, what can allow you to show up as your best self and avoid mental exhaustion? Have you ever experienced mental exhaustion? How are you supposed to be productive when you are mentally exhausted? How are you going to have a good marriage, raise your children, have self care when you are mentally exhausted? That's why I've been talking about the different areas of wellness and being a whole human being. It is not meant for you to spend the majority or all of your life working and then die prematurely from stress and sickness brought on by stress. That can't be the abundant life God talks about in the word, y'all. That's a form of bondage. We can't work like that in this new year. We can't do that, y'all. We can't. Let's keep going. Work-life balance is often used to describe a trade-off. You balance the time spent on work projects versus time with family, friends, and personal interests. Tim, you hit the nail on the head. It's oppression. It's oppression. That's exactly what it is. And the oppression causes depression. And you feel compressed. It's a whole bunch of pressed because it's consuming. You dream about it. This I'm talking about me now. You leave work to come home with work, to dream about work, and to do it all again 4 more days in a row, if not more, to meet certain deadlines and goals. It is oppression. Kim, when I say all consuming, I can be really honest. I have lost hair, cartilage in my jaw, mental faculties, all at the hands of workplace stress. Yeah. And that leads to anxiety because you're always anxious about, am I doing the right thing? Am I meeting the goals? Am I making the cut? Am I going to get a raise? Am I going to get a bonus? Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? You're always constantly almost paranoid because you don't know if what you're doing is enough until it ain't enough and you get pulled in. We can't work like this, y'all. We have got to leave this in 2022 and not take it to a new year. Nope. We can't do it. It's literally killing us. It is. Let's keep going. So, work-life balance can refer to the level of flexibility. Oh, there's a good word. Come on, flexibility with your team members. Okay? So, for example, if you have personal errands, hi Tanisha, thank you for joining. If you got errands to run, 9 times out of 10, if you work the same hours of the doctors and the banks and the whatever, You can't balance your personal business and work. So flexibility, employers, would be great. What if you offered a split shift? What if you offered a personal day to just do your errands? My sister's out here, Mrs. Norfleet. She says, I've been there. If the mental exhaustion / abuse becomes unbearable, woo, you may have to make hard choices. I switched industries after 14 years at a major corporation for peace of mind. It's not healthy. Ooh, Mrs. Norfleet. The hard choices, because your choice needs to be you. I know our parents worked their fingers to the bone at GM, Ford, and Chrysler. Many of us have seen our parents and grandparents bent over after working for companies 50 years with little acknowledgement. That can be our portion, Tanisha. I'm glad you were strong enough to say, I got to make some hard choices. I have seen people take whole demotions. Because, yes, we love our coins. We love our coins. But sometimes there's a choice you make to move laterally, or I've seen people take steps down for peace of mind. Why? Because companies have normalized stress and mental exhaustion / abuse, as Mrs. Norfleet said. My sister is right. So if you find yourself in that predicament, and I did find myself in that predicament, and I wanted to be loyal, and I was grateful for what that company has done for me. I still am. I still am grateful for the journey. However, sometimes the hard choices mean turning inward and saying, what about me? They're not going to make your health their priority. Can we be clear? The company isn't going to make your health their priority. That has to be your priority. And if enough of us start pulling back enough to say, whoa, 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 I realize that I taught you, dear employer, that I could work the weekend, I shouldn't have to. And why is it that even in a management position, we feel even managers should be stressed? You ain't managing good if you ain't stressed. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Why can't a management job also involve work-life balance? Why do you have to be calling me all day and night? What's the plan? Because I'm not a surgeon. I don't operate on nobody. So why is my phone ringing beyond Big Red's office hours? Which he said, what did Big Red tell y'all in 5 Heartbeats that the office hours are? What did he say? What did he tell Bird in the Midnight Falcons? Office hours are 9 to 5. Or it could be 8 to 4:30, 7 to 3:30. You get the principle. Big Red spoke it. Come on here, Kim. Big Red spoke it. He wasn't playing. Y'all missed that part, but he was talking about some truth there. We have opened the door for office hours to expand. This ain't no 24-hour CVS. No. And we believe that we're doing it in the interest of doing a good job. And we do it because, well, if I don't, how am I going to make the cut? Because the quota is blank. Man, these people and their unrealistic expectations. And you feel like your back is against the wall because you don't want to be fired. So you find yourself like, well, dang, if I don't work my fingers to the bone, sacrifice my weekends and holidays, then I won't. I'm telling you now, if enough people make enough noise and say, listen, my office hours are 9 to 5, and unless you in a dang on hospital, ain't nothing you need from LHG that's gonna help somebody live. Listen, ain't nothing you need from me that's gonna keep them from going to the gate. Stop allowing people to make you feel as though it's normal to be working on a weekend and holidays because they do it. Maybe you ain't got no life. I do. Mine. And you wonder why other relationships end up suffering because all of our time is at work trying to make the cut. But guess what? The cut gonna keep moving. The more you give in to that inclination of I gotta push, they're gonna keep moving the target in a lot of cases. Now there are some good companies out here, and if you know of any good companies, put them in the chat. But a lot of these companies are in the business of mass production. I'm not saying there aren't any companies who don't care for employees, but what I'm saying is they are rare gems. Most employers are in it for mass production. I need you to produce on turbo speed over and over again until you're depleted. We got to stop subscribing to that. And I believe the more that we have these conversations with each other, with those who make the decisions, like, you know what, you got this goal right here. But to be honest, I don't think that goal is reasonable. And when y'all get these surveys about how are we doing, tell them. Let me drink to that. Woo! When you are asked, just like you get a survey from a company you go to patronize, if your employer is sending you, now I can't tell you they're gonna make any changes, but blow them surveys up. They should know if you have some issues. Yes, Kim, please be honest, y'all. Please tell these employers what you're dealing with in these situations. Please don't be afraid. Because if I owned a business, and I am going to own several in the name of Jesus our Christ, I would want to know. Well, I would be asking, but I would want to know from my employees if I'm doing good or not. It's measurable. And you need to know, just like any kind of review for a restaurant, a review for a product, they need to know the good and the not so good to grow. If it's good, keep doing this. If it's bad, don't do it no more. That kind of information is so valuable. So if you are burnt out, that's right, Kim, tell them if the processes are not working properly or correctly, and if it's just not a good process at all. Please tell the people, y'all. Don't just complain to each other. Don't just go on a phone and start calling and gossiping. Talk to the people that make the decisions. Fill out the surveys. Break it down one thing at a time. This could be different. That could be different. And come with suggestions. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying just go off on a rant that doesn't have some suggestions in it. And you probably are qualified to give those suggestions. Give the suggestions. Because guess what? If you give them complaints without the suggestions, that's right, Kim. If you do that, they're going to, hold on one second, y'all. They're going to think that you're just complaining. And you don't want to be that person that just complains. So when you give your suggestions, put it in the context of try this. This will work for our customers. In my experience, when customers hear or see this, they're more apt to blank. Put it in perspective. And if they're smart, they'll value you for your contribution. And that shows you care enough about your job. Come on in here. It shows you care enough. If you get so fed up to where you don't even feel like giving suggestions, you might have to make some hard choices, as my sister said. But if you love what you do and you care about the environment, try giving some suggestions. Not everything is going to take you leaving. Sometimes people don't do better because they don't know better. And I do know that in some cases, many of our executives, they feel like their level or status qualifies them to make these changes. And they may have the right to do it, but it doesn't mean they have the knowledge to make it work. That's where the team concept comes in. Let's get back to the article. So, flexibility. When you work a 9 to 5, especially in the office, you're limited to those hours and you can't really, I wouldn't suggest trying to go to the doctor on lunch hour. I would be late every time. I try not to mix personal stuff in my work day. Just do not go to the Secretary of State on your lunch. You may have to take some time off for your business, or maybe jobs need to offer different kind of rotational schedules, split shifts, flexible start times, to allow people to create the day that they need to balance their life. That's just a suggestion. So listen to this. My sister said we need to include employee mental health resources, yes, and quality of life in the discussion when we are selecting jobs. It's just as important as, Tanisha, as health insurance, carrier, and pay rate. So that's a good point. When you are looking for a place of employment, mind you, when you are looking for a job, the objective, at least in my mind, is that you can get somewhere that you can stay for a while. So while we are looking at dollars and cents, and I get it, you really want to look at, is this job a fit for me in terms of who I am as a person? Is this job a fit in terms of, will it be too much mentally? And that even goes for internal movement from department to department. Just because you see that position open up, and yes, the level is higher and it would pay you more, are you sure that that's what you want? And what would it cost you in that environment? If the environment is toxic on all levels, and you go climbing up to another devil on that level, what have you done to your mental state? Tanisha, that's an excellent point. When you are job searching, and maybe I agree with that. I don't know if everybody puts that much thought into it, but you probably should. Do your research. Maybe when you're looking for a job, now my daughter, when she looks for jobs have reviews too. Companies have reviews. Is this a good employer? And you look in the comments, that manager named Skippy is crazy. He hit me up in the corner and harassed me. Maybe you ought to be looking at the reviews for these companies. Money is nice, but you also don't want to get into something that can have you jacked up. Excellent point, sis. Because if you're getting these jobs and it is costing you your mental faculties, and you become easily irritated, your production is not great because you're so stressed, and your relationships is all jacked up, and yeah, your bank account looking nice, but everything else is, you can't enjoy the money if you slipped up out of here and landed on Jesus' patio prematurely. Ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. And stress kills. Mental exhaustion, and this is just me talking, I ain't no doctor, can erode your sense of reasoning. Then you start making decisions that probably aren't the best for you because you don't have the same mental capacity you had before. Mental exhaustion is just that. How you see physical exhaustion when your body don't want to move, it means your mind can get stuck. It means your decision making and your reasoning is affected because you're so tired. Tanisha, you started something, girl. When y'all picking these jobs, think about your quality of life, mentally, not just the money. Money is good, but you can go online and review companies, and some of them say, don't come work here. I'm trying to get out myself. Read several reviews. Just kind of look through. Some companies are notorious for not valuing employees. Some are not providing adequate training. Some have high turnover, high stress level, high everything except for the good stuff. So invest in taking the time to shop for the job that is good for you, that you can hopefully spend some time at and not have to just quit right away. Don't walk into a whole other lion's den coming out of an alligator cave. Don't do that. That's not worth it. And if you like me, thank you, Kim. I've heard that was a great company. If you like me and you pushing 50, I don't have time to be dabbling and doing a little advertising sample with these companies. I don't have time for that. I'm ready to come to the end of my mind. Y'all may just be starting up. LHG trying to say, roll the credits. Roll the credits on this thing. It's been real. You've been wonderful. Peace. And a company should want good employees, and an employee should want a good company. You want that place. Listen, Kim, don't play. At this age, I need to coast on out as the Lord see fit and keep it moving. And to be honest, but I do feel I do love training. I see myself going back into that some kind of way. But the other stuff, these children can have it. They can have it. The kids can have it. Because your girl tired. The girl tired. But listen to this, y'all. And I'm about to wrap up. I love y'all. According to the Gallup's Women in America report, work-life balance encompasses everything that goes into a well-lived life. The report suggests that many women view life and work holistically. And as a result, we look for employers who can encourage and support us as people, not just as employees. Come on here. They should see you as a person, not just an employee or a worker or not a number. You're a human being. How about that? How about that? A well-lived life. Work-life balance means it encompasses everything that goes into living a well-lived life. Don't you want to live your life well? And living your life well cannot involve being mentally exhausted at somebody's job. I'm not saying there won't be any trace of stress sometimes when it's crunch time, but if you have experienced when you drive to work, if you're still driving to work, and you got that burning in your chest and that lump in your throat, like going to Green Mile, woo, I've been there. Just to walk to your desk, feel like you just heavy. Like, Lord, help me another day. And it don't even be about what you do per se. Sometimes it's who you do that with and the whole package of the surroundings. Toxic work environments exist. I promise you they exist. And a lot of times it's because there's toxic people in the environment. I had two that were just as toxic as they want to be. And it wasn't addressed. A good leader knows that everyone deserves a work environment that is not hostile. That should be in the handbook. Page 1, paragraph 1. We all deserve a safe environment, literally, and just the environment figuratively when it comes to how you work with people. If you identify toxic people that are up to no good, starting mess, saying stupid stuff, you need to address that, leader. Pull them in the office. Get them straight. because that bad apple can spoil a very good bunch of Granny Smiths, honey. That one molded apple can spoil an entire bunch and make people feel that you don't value them because you want to dress the crazies. You have to address the people who are on your staff causing trouble, havoc, and flim flam, shimmy sham in your group. And you know who they are. You know who they are. And you can't be afraid to pull them in, reel them in. Like, look, your behavior is out of control. And you are bringing down the rest of the team with your gossip, your lies, and your foolishness. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to work this out. But if you don't, you're going to have some problems with me. Toxic work environments cause stress when it's not addressed. You cannot call yourself a good leader and you are not willing to do what it takes to rid the environment of as much of that toxic stuff as you can. Now, maybe because y'all at home, y'all don't feel that because y'all at home. But in that office, baby, it gets real. It gets really real. You want your employees to enjoy their job, to get up in the morning and they want to log on. They want to work. They want to have, team meetings and learn different things. You want them to want to work. It is our responsibility when in leadership, yes, constantly correcting adults that act like children. Yes, it's exhausting, but it got to be done, y'all. It's not fair that it's just like having children. If you got one child who's always being bad and doing the wrong thing, you don't address it, and now it's spilling over to the good child, you got to get that straight. Because now I'm looking at, now they can sit up there and do whatever they want, say whatever they want, be rude and mean in the emails, and you say nothing, but let me turn around and have one semi-harsh word. You on my butt. What's wrong with this picture? You can't let people wreak havoc on one end, and then when someone make a simple mistake or have a judgment lapse, you want to throw them out in the streets. Don't do that. Is it comfortable to have those kind of behavioral discussions with grown people? No, but guess what? It comes with the territory. When you sign up to be a person in leadership, you signed up for that. Not everybody's behavior is good in the workplace. You got folks in their 50s, 60s, and beyond that act a plumb fool in the workplace. And you don't want to bother them. I don't want to ruffle the feathers. Because if you don't do it, somebody going to get with them. And it's not going to be pretty. Because what eliminates stress is when the work environment is conducive for cooperating, collaborating, getting the job done. I don't have to be your bestie for us to get the job done and have a good environment. We ain't got to go to the coffee shop and hang out at night or go on, little whatever. We don't have to kick it on that level for us to have a good work environment and working relationship. And when leaders don't address the bad apples, you spoil the bunch, leader. You're doing it. Ooh, we'll have to have a part 2 on this, y'all. But the term work-life balance, according to the article, was coined in the 80s. But the concept came from the 1900s when people were advocating for fair labor standards. And at the time, were working more than 100 hours a week. Now, can you imagine? Is it over 100 hours in a week? Jeesh, you ain't sleeping at all. And they probably was getting paid 10 cents per 2 days. So what made work-life balance popular was the women's liberation movement, because it described the challenges that women faced, working women, having to balance families and career. Because, back in the day, the men went to the plant, and worked all day. The woman stayed home and cooked and cleaned, took care of the children. But then when things started changing and these plants started closing, and now the wife got to go to work, but she's expected to still perform all those household duties with a whole full-time job. So that's when that phrase came into effect. It's not about just women now, but it became popular because women, as you know, we have these roles that people give us. You're the woman, you're supposed to do blank. Well, I'm working now. So why do I have to do all the cooking? I'm working too. Yes, Kim. Many companies are still only interested in the business need, and that has a place, but you won't have a business without people. There's no process without someone to work it. So while we can have some focus on what the needs of the business are, we need to have some idea of what the human beings in the business need to fulfill the business need. You can't start with the business need and phase out people because you're going to be sitting in there by yourself. As soon as people understand that the infusion of business need and human need makes good business, then we will be better off. We'll be better off. Because when you are in those times where it's busy and you need extra manpower, extra people to sign up and volunteer for stuff, and you wonder why nobody does it, then you should kind of assess how people are feeling. They tired? Maybe. The processes ain't working? Maybe. It's stress? Maybe. Could be a lot of reasons. And I believe that companies need to have these types of conversations because there is a benefit on both sides when people have work-life balance. When I am feeling fulfilled, I'm not stressed, I'm not tired, I am going to produce more for you. I'm going to produce more. But when I feel my back is against the wall and I'm mentally exhausted, after a certain amount of time, I clock out mentally. I can't give you nothing else. And then that turns into more physical issues. So now I got to call off because I got to go to the doctor because y'all done stress me out because I'm sick. So now you in a pinch because I'm off that day and you done got me sick. You know what, Kim? You ain't said nothing but a word. Come on. Come on, collaboration. Somebody, one of my sisters, Teresa Callahan, posted collaboration is currency. I'm telling you, all the brain power we got, you see? Woo-wee. So, how do you implement work-life balance and what are the benefits of work-life balance? Let's do it, sisters. Hey, I ain't playing. I posted that I was gonna be doing some pop-ups at coffee shops next year. And so we can do some coffee shop conversations and put some things together because I am probably going to turn some of this into webinars to try to teach people how to make this happen in their corporations. I mean, I ain't no expert, but I'm gonna turn this into some teachable moments for somebody. So here's the thing: benefits of having work-life balance. Number one, we already hit on it. You have fewer health issues. When you're not burnt out and stressed, you have better health, better mental health, and better physical health, which means you're probably going to be more productive. You may be a better person to get along with because you're not so tired. And being tired and fatigued negatively impacts your focus and productivity per the article, betterup.com. And if you're tired and you're making mistakes, that means your professional reputation is on the line. Real story. When I'm stressed out and I'm burnt out, and you got 18,000 emails to look at and answer, something's probably gonna slip through the cracks, y'all. So instead of banging me over the head with you missed this, you missed this, you missed that, maybe we can decrease that from 18,000 emails coming at you to half of that. How can we reduce some of that? Reduce stress on your team. Because when you have so much coming at you by way of emails and people pulling on you for this and pulling on you for that, how do you get that done in a day? That's why people end up working late. And I would work late because everybody is gone and they think I'm gone. So I get that quiet time to work, but it's still hurting me because I'm working 10, 12, 14 hours. So I think I'm being productive, but on the other end, I'm kind of hurting myself. But that's how the mind, well, how can I get this done? Stay late, come early. But when you cutting the lights on and then cutting them off every day, and then the weekends, and then holidays, that's not healthy, y'all. That's not healthy. And poor health brings on, according to the article, people start drinking more and using drugs more, whether it's painkillers or other drugs, because they're tired and numb. We're talking about what the lack of work-life balance is doing to us. And not to mention the negative impact on relationships. My mom was so tired coming home. And I might have wanted to just say, hi, mama. I had a good day, had a bad day. Many times she wasn't there for that. And I love my mama, but we're just going to be honest. I've done that sometimes too. If I'm too stressed, and Gabby, when she was smaller, she would want to, mama. Sometimes I'd be like, girl, I'm tired. Because you've worked all day, been stressed out all day. All you want to do is get in the door, kick off your shoes, take that good brassiere off, and let them things swing low, sweet chariot. Listen, that's all you want to do is get in the door and take that bra off because you're so stressed out. So that means the children of stressed out parents start to be, they start to feel the negative effects of a stressed out parent. I want to tell my mama that I got an award today. I want to tell my dad that I'm getting, acknowledged. I want to tell my mom that, it's a field trip tomorrow. But she's so tired, she done went in the room and closed the door. It's not making you a bad parent. You're a tired parent. And that comes from stress. And then you don't have time to even, your girlfriend might call and say, it's my birthday. Let's go to eat. Girl, I can't go out. I'm tired. You want to go to church? You're too tired for that. So everything in your life starts to be put on a back burner all because of work-related stress. Yep, it can happen. Been there, done that. Now get this part before I close. Per the article, people who work 3 to 4 hours of overtime, listen to this, y'all, have a 60% higher risk of heart problems compared to those who don't work overtime. Woo! I had to highlight and underline that part. So this article is suggesting when you work those extra hours, yes, you're trying to get money, but it's putting you at risk of heart problems, y'all. The 8 hours already stressed out. You done added 3 or 4 more. Okay. And I've done it almost every day. 60% higher risk of heart problems compared to those who don't work overtime. And I know people who will stand on that principle. Do not ask me to work overtime. And people will be like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? They want to live to see it happen. Live, 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 live. Come on. It's more stress. So while you may be money motivated, the article is saying working over 3 to 4 hours of overtime makes you more at risk for heart problems. Do you know I have read articles where people have literally dropped dead at their desks? My goodness. And the article says, moreover, working any overtime is associated with poor perceived general health. So you work any overtime and you can have poor health, increased neck and muscle pain, higher on the job injury rates, unhealthy weight gain, increased likelihood of smoking, and higher rates of alcohol consumption. Ooh-wee. My sister got a comment. Another facet for part 2. How can we as moms break the curse of being super mom? Ooh-wee. When you're really dying. When I was first married, I felt like a failure because I couldn't keep up and do all the things my mom did. And appearing unfazed. That's good for part 2, sis. And looking back on our mothers and working full time, demanding jobs and trying to come home and be wife and be mama. And my mother was the choir director, the church administrator, the printed out the Sunday school packets, and she did everything. It's a whole series, Kim. This really is about to be a series. I had a sneaking suspicion that once we got started, it was going to turn into a series, because what we have seen in our lifetime, what we have seen from our parents, and we love them and appreciate their work ethic. Lord knows, Ruth King taught us how to type, and she said, when the kids are outside playing, we in here typing. No matter what happens, you'll have a skill. You can answer somebody's phones and type someone's letters. And we stuck with that. We didn't know anything but working hard. We didn't know nothing but staying late. So, and she probably saw her parents do that. And there's nothing wrong with working hard. But at some point, when do you say, this is killing me? This is killing me. And many of us probably actually lost our moms, and it could have been because of some illnesses that came about from stress. It could be. Same here. I want to be transparent and pass on the good, yes, as well as the reality to my daughter. Yes, yes. We need to be balanced in our raising. Yes, sister. I know, girl. I know. We need to be balanced in taking the good of what we saw, y'all, as kids, because my mama worked hard, very hard, to put food on our table, and I will be forever grateful to her for that. But I can remember the pain, the physical pain, because she wore heels all day long, running around the office in heels every day. She ain't do flats, honey, not with King. And then the mental pain from being looked over, even though you calling my mama late at night to get things typed and to get things done. You're calling her to do all these moving parts. But when it came to the elevation and promotion, you looked over her because she's a woman and a Black woman, because you didn't want a Black woman to supersede a non-Black woman. So I felt her pain. And 40 years later, I still feel that in the workplace today. Now, I ain't saying everybody racist, but there is a culture that still exists that we, people who like me, have to push that much harder just to make the median point. Where our counterparts can F up everything. And, oh, didn't she do a good job? No. I make one mistake and you on my dang on email. So yes, Tanisha, I want us to take those good quality attributes and preach them to our kids. But that breaking down and leaving here prematurely, we will not succumb to it. We will not succumb to it. We'll talk about self-care to our daughters and our sons. We'll show them that taking vacations is a good thing. will balance our lives better. We, in the name of Jesus, come on here. That's not going to be our portion. And that's why we having this conversation, because this thing is real. We want to live a long time. And we want to pass on the right things to our children. And they can pass on the right practices to their children. Because for our parents probably didn't know any better. Work, 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 work. Retire and die. No. The devil is a liar. And what, Kim? A deceiver too. I will not leave here and land on Jesus's grass early. I will not. No. And when you have wronged me and you have hurt me and you are hindering my success, I won't tell you that. I'm going to tell you. And when the surveys come and they ask you how they doing, I'm going to tell you how you doing. That's who I am. And you should accept it and receive it. And I'm not going to pacify you. No. And that's why I want us to also talk about entrepreneurism. I know everybody don't want to be a business owner, but honey, I'm willing to be my own boss. I don't want to clock in too much longer. Not at almost 50. They want you to work till you're 99. No. And we will keep these conversations going, Kimberly. This whole thing was birthed out of a pain point in my life. We will keep these conversations going. There is a better way to have a good work ethic, not stress out, not leave here early, be able to take vacations, have a good marriage, spend time with your kids, enjoy your sisters, go to church, self-care, and all of that. It can be done. It is attainable. It is. So we're going to make different generational choices starting with us. Starting here. Starting now. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Big Mama. Thank you, Mima. Thank you, Madea, for all that you've done. So we're going to take some of that and we're going to bring it to date and we're going to live long. And the quality of life, not a long agonizing life of sickness, a good quality of life, free of the ailments that many of our parents and grandparents face. They were broken down. Come on, Kim, break every chain. I don't want to be oppressed. No, we got so much stress making somebody else rich. You would think I'm the seed to the dang on EO. No. And even having our own stuff ain't gonna make us leave here and land on the Lord's roof prematurely. No. I come against that whole ideal. No. Heart problems, can't sleep, dreaming about it, worried, head hurt, back hurt, no jawbone left, edges on the back of our neck. No. We're not doing that. You listen, I gotta go. I was gonna end it at an hour and a half, but my sisters came on here talking to me. This was good. Thank you. I need y'all to share, subscribe, like. Part 1 is in the books. I didn't even get to half my notes, but we're gonna break this thing down layer by layer. And I'm probably gonna reach out to y'all to come on the next part, y'all, so we can talk about it together. But I am committed to having these critical conversations that free us and free the next generation. Come on. We got to make some changes, y'all. Even Auntie Emma, she's my accountability partner in my business. And we'll talk to each other like, girl, we got to, guide family business and take care of yourself. Yes, there's a hierarchy. Thank you, sister, for your engagement, Tanisha. I love you. I love you, Kim, Auntie Emma. And for everybody who's out there, I love having an accountability partner in my life. I think it's something that we need to keep us centered. So I'll be back next time. I'll share with you all when we're gonna do part 2. We gotta finish this because this is blessing me, and I hope it's helping other people. It's a better way, y'all. It's a better way. I want to thank all of you. Please like, please share, tag. Be sure to go on YouTube and subscribe to Trailblazers Radio. And I want to get our viewership up. So many great shows that the hosts have been putting together for you. Tune in every Saturday for this show. We got part 2 of the forgiveness series coming back with the forgiveness coach, bringing her back. So please just watch and follow the page. Have a happy, prosperous, glorious new year. This next year is going to be something special. I don't make resolutions, but I am making adjustments, and I'm paying attention to me. And no might have to be my best friend. I love you all. Thank you for watching, tuning in, and engaging. Happy New Year and have a good night. Mwah!